Hi, welcome to this Grandma's Life podcast. I'm your host, theciaellis. Get ready to laugh, learn, and grow with me as we explore growing old in an ever-changing world. One of the good things about growing old is that people judge you less when you say sometimes outrageous things. I'm getting older, and I've had a fascinating life. I also have opinions. You may not agree with these opinions, and I may not care. Even now, I'm passionate about many things. I love to learn. I love quotes. I love my animals on the farm, and I care about my country. Join me as we explore loving life, even as we age. Today is March 29, 2025, and this is episode 77, The Price of Eggs in the United States. In this episode, we're going to discuss why egg prices are so high. But first, I want to tell you what's been going on. Oh, I got invited to a dance party in Pryor. A friend of mine, she's a gym instructor at the gym I go to, and but she also owns her own gym with another partner over in Pryor. And I haven't got the opportunity to do the one part of it, but she does the bungee thing where they have bungee cords that hang from the ceiling and you exercise from the suspended bungee cords. And that really sounds like a lot of fun. I haven't done that yet, but she invited me to a dance party. And so we were told to wear neon. And when I got there, they had neon paints. They had all the glow sticks and all that other stuff. I brought some glow sticks, and there were ladies and children everywhere playing with the paint and putting glow sticks on and stuff. And then we had a hour-long kick butt aerobics class. Kicking my butt, I won't lie. I was by far the oldest one there, but it was okay. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. And but I went home, took some ibuprofen, and went to bed after that one. But it was fun. If you watch my Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel, you saw where I had put together a bed frame for Kenzie's bed while we're over here at Tony's house, and you should watch it because it's on Grandma's Homestead. I think it's called Putting Together a Twin Bed Frame with a Little Help. That's because my little granddaughter Ivy, she's 3 years old, helped a lot. It was fun. I actually had to cut out a lot of the video of it because she was up close to the camera, and her parents don't necessarily want her to be like that up in the camera. So I honored that, and I cleared the footage with him before I published it, but you can see where she's crawling on my back. She's putting bolts in the frame and stuff, and just trying to help in general. So I enjoyed it. I really did. I had a sad note. I mean, it's not really sad, but I was sad. Okay, Bo, if you know me at all, you know that we got custody of my granddaughter Kenzie when she was 11 years old, and she turned 18 a few months ago. And I needed to terminate the custody of her so that she could basically be an adult and everything. It was sad. I mean, I got it done. I paid for the last year because I don't know how it is in your state, but in Oklahoma, you go to court every year. You pay money to say, yes, I'd like to keep her for another year. And so I paid for that last year or whatever. And had to sign paper saying she's an adult now. And she's a sweet woman. She is a young lady now. She's working full time. She's actually the last 3 months of high school she's doing online, so she can work full time. She just bought a car the other day. And so that I don't know, it's just been one of those things where uh it was just sad for me. Last week, uh I had woken up. I like to do what I call bookwork in the morning. I record the weather for the day, the high temperature, low temperature, sunrise, sunset, and all that other stuff. And then I go back that evening and record what the actual temperature was for the day. But that morning we had red flag warnings, extreme fire danger warnings, and all that other, And I looked out the window, and the sun wasn't quite up yet, but you could see a little bit, and it was just really the visibility was very low, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is there a fire nearby? And no, the wind wasn't even here yet. It was heavy fog. Oh my gosh, it was extremely heavy fog. Now that afternoon, the winds did come, and we had a lot of wind and a lot of fires over there on the other side of Tulsa, the west side of Tulsa. There was quite a few fires, and then down by Oklahoma City, there was a bunch of fires too. We had fires around here. The nearest one was less than a mile away, but we've got they were able to get them under control. We are rural enough that there aren't that many buildings and you can kind of catch things, I guess. I don't know. One way or another, our firefighters did an excellent job. And I think there were a few houses that were lost in this area, but in general, they did an excellent job of keeping the fire damage to a minimum. And I'm really grateful for them. I'm getting used to my new life. I have most days are good. Some days break my heart. I've lost my farm. And I keep hearing stories about what's going on with my farm animals, and it breaks my heart. But there's nothing I can do about it, and so I'm adjusting. Kinsey is spending more time over here, and I'm grateful for that. And honestly, we just found out recently we will be moving into our own, kind of our own place. I'll talk to you about that when the time comes. But it's looking like I'm going to have another place to move to, where Kinsey and I will basically have the building to ourselves, but it belongs to someone else. And I will have to move again into my own space after that, but that's fine. Tony and Kayla have been so good to me, giving us our own bedroom and just putting up with having two extra people in the house with a 3-year-old that is used to just her mom and dad. It's been a challenge for the baby, and it's been a challenge for them, but we're all getting used to it. We're all coming around, and it's going pretty good as a general rule, but it is an adjustment, and we're all adjusting, and I'm grateful for that. When I'm listening to, yes, I'm still, because I've been busy. I'm trying to find a job, and I'm trying to get things together for a lawyer. I'm trying to just all kinds of information going on. So I have been, well, when I was on the farm, I listened to audiobooks and podcasts a lot. I was home alone a lot, and I'm not home alone a lot right now. So I'm not being able to listen to my audiobooks and my podcasts as much as I want to. And so I'm still listening to Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, and I'm on my second listening of that. I think I got 4 hours left of it. And The Heretics of Doom by Frank Herbert. I think I've got 2 hours left on that one because I'm still listening to that. I think I'm going to do a Dresden Files fiction book after I finish this one before I go back to the Dune series. I don't know. We'll find out. And yes, I'm still studying. And I say studying because I'm doing the series on the Are You Ready for the Next Great Depression? I'm still reading and taking notes of stuff of Spuds, Spam, and Eating for Victory, Rationing in the Second World War by Catherine Knight. And it's been an interesting read. I've learned a lot. And I've still got a ways to go with it. But I am, like I said, I'm taking notes as I go and trying to absorb as much of this as possible. And another interesting book I'm reading is Muscular Retraining for Pain-Free Living by Craig Williamson. That's been an interesting book, too. I can think of a handful of people that could use this book, even though it was written in the early 2000s, I believe. But I'm not sure what his techniques are not used more mainstream. And as I continue studying and reading it, I will probably try to implement a lot of them for myself because I'm getting older and things hurt, and I would like to put them to the test, as so to speak. I'm nearing the end of my fiction book by James Michener, Poland. It's been a good read. Not my favorite, but it's still been interesting because it's historical and it's just been interesting, but it's been a big long book, and I have to admit I'm kind of getting ready to get on with that one. All right, my quote of the week is "History teaches us that man learns nothing from history" by George Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. History teaches us that man learns nothing from history. And he was born in 1770 and died in 1831. He was a German philosopher. Hegel, everywhere is this reason and freedom, despite being natural potentials, were historical achievements. And he took skepticism seriously and contended that people cannot presume any truths that have not passed the test of experience. All right, I'm really hoping that the fan that I just had turned on is not a distraction in the sound. I was sweating up a storm. I'm still trying to cool down just a bit, but we got the fan going, and hopefully it's not bothering you. All right, we're going to get on to the main subject of the price of eggs in the United States. And I've heard a lot of stories. Of course, obviously, it's according to where you are located, how much you pay for eggs. But even here in rural Oklahoma, I think they were saying a dozen eggs was $6, $7, and $8 a dozen, and people have been fussing about that. And until recently, I was not buying eggs, and I have to admit, when I buy eggs now, I feel almost like it's sacrilegious for me to buy eggs at the grocery store when I just a few miles away I've got a whole bunch of eggs I could have had, but that life is over, so I buy my own eggs now, and I'm paying the same prices that you are paying for eggs too. So, but why are they so expensive? And they're saying that it's because of the bird flu. And you're going, okay, really? Is it from the bird flu? Let's think about this for a moment and decide if that's the case. They want you to think it's a bird flu. Is bird flu. Okay, so this, like, let's put it this way. Joel Salatin is a very famous natural farmer and has spoken out against a lot of things that in our food chain through the government over the years. And for some people, that's considered notoriety. Other people consider him a hero. And one way or another, his farming practices have been duplicated in a lot of ways over the years to provide lots of homesteaders clean, good food. So he backs what he's saying. But he was saying that a turkey farmer, and I don't remember where he said it was, that raises 40,000 turkeys a year. To me, that's a huge farm. I don't know how it is in industrial terms, but he has 40,000. He raises that many turkeys a year. And he says the bird flu is always there. Just like what we always have the flu. It may be seasonal and stuff like that, but we still have the flu. So birds catch the flu. Everybody catches colds, whatever. And he says he will lose up to 10% of his flock. And I have read that some people, and I don't know what kind of bird necessarily, but they have been known to lose up to 80% of their flock. So, but if you're talking about 40,000 a year, even if it's 80% of your flock, that's still a decent number. It's a terrible loss, don't get me wrong, but it's still some that survive that can carry the gene that had helped them survive and make them stronger for the next generation. So yeah, the killing the survivors, which is the current USDA policy, is certifiably insane. Okay, that was a quote. And he goes, why? Killing survivors also depletes the rest of the flock the ability to have a stronger defense against the flu. Right now, government agents with guns can come onto any farm without warrant and kill all your chickens, unquote. So what if a bird gets sick? The farmer, quote, lets it run its course, absorb the cost, and risk how many birds that the flu gets. And he doesn't get paid for that. So Joel also says that there are two solutions that are combating the bird flu, and we're not talking about vaccines. He's talking about specific ways to combat the bird flu. The first one is chlorine dioxide solution, CDS. It's an antimicrobial, safe enough for both animals and humans to drink. And several studies, especially in Japan, show its antiviral efficacy. And according to WebMD.com, chlorine dioxide is a gas used in very small quantities to disinfect water. The other tool or weapon against the bird flu is hypochlorous. It's another non-toxic antimicrobial use in organic certified slaughterhouses as a disinfectant, and again, drinkable. ScienceDirect.com states that, quote, hypochlorous acid, HOCI, is a strong antioxidant and antimicrobial acid that is naturally produced in the body's immune system to fight infection and bacteria in the skin. It's also used in swimming pools and cosmetics. Both of these tools have nearly 100% efficacy against the bird flu, but, quote, the USDA won't even consider them or study them. They are simply ignored in favor of vaccine development. So far, any bird flu vaccine developed has the unfortunate side effect of actually making the bird flu more virulent, unquote. So what does this have to do with the price of your eggs, and how long will we have to pay for this? These birds are being killed by the millions, guys, millions. Over 148 million birds have been ordered euthanized since 2022. In December 2024 and January 2025, 41.4 million domesticated birds were culled, according to thinkglobalhealth.org. If one farm is found with even one case with the bird flu, the entire flock is culled, and any farms around the ground zero have their flocks killed too. So now you have considerably fewer birds to lay eggs, and not just to feed the American population. Many eggs need to be incubated to produce more eggs in the future. From the hatch to the laying age takes about 5 months. The test used to detect the bird flu is the same one used to detect COVID in the humans, and is called polymerase chain reaction test, PCR. The typical number of cycles amplified to detect a disease is between 25 and 35. That was a quote there. According to Salatin, the number of amplifications used to detect the bird flu on someone's farm is 45 cycles. Salatin states that with that number of cycles, the DNA of the flu virus could be found on your kitchen table, even if you don't even have own birds. This basically means that the chances of the government officials detecting the bird flu on a farmer's property is quite high, facilitating the need to destroy all your birds and the birds of all your neighbors. On a bit of a side note, the USDA also gives $50 gift certificates to veterinarians for every cow they test for the bird flu, who are also cranking up the cycles to 45. These culling of entire flocks has not only affected the price of your eggs, it has seriously crippled the hatchery industry. It's difficult to produce more chickens to produce eggs to hatch, not only for your food in the grocery store, but also for the bird farmers to replace their flocks for both meat in the grocery stores and for the homesteader looking to grow their own food. I was listening to some podcasts and following some threads from homesteaders that stated that specific hatcheries are struggling under these cullings. McMurray Hatchery finally had to cancel many of their orders to customers who had ordered their chicks months in advance. Hoover Hatchery has stopped taking orders for birds. Most hatcheries will not have birds to sell until July or even as late as September. This is for the Cornish cross, along with many of the egg layers birds most loved on the farms. Farm stores are seeing lines around the corners of their buildings as soon as the customers find out that a shipment of chicks has arrived. And as they're going quickly, as the farm stores are indicating, they're not getting the number of chicks they ordered. Joel Salatin is convinced that this bird flu issue is another way for you to feel compelled to receive the bird flu vaccine, just like you were compelled to receive the COVID vaccine and all its boosters. The pharmaceutical companies are looking to keep up the revenue by feeding you fear. I'm prone to agree. My heart goes out to all the hatchery and farm producers who have lost their millions of birds because a government official had the right to come into their property to test an animal with a highly amplified testing technique. I'm not inclined to favor the veterinarians who happily come onto your farm to test your cattle so they can receive their multiple $50 gift certificates. I'm not saying ignore the news of the bird flu. I'm saying that the process of testing for it is questionable, and the way they are killing off millions of birds is not the way to combat it. God has a wonderful way of taking care of many things, all things, and this includes the flu. Let nature take its course, allowing survivors to carry the genetics to combat the disease or any other disease on their own. This will make for a stronger, healthier food supply that will not disrupt egg and meat production. When the cold birds are replaced, like they were a few years ago, prices and the availability will normalize until they find another way to scare you and start the killing again. My question of the day is, what are your thoughts on the government officials on handling this bird flu situation? You can comment on the video form on the below, or you can send me an email at theciaellis@gmail.com. I would encourage you to check out Streamyard. This is the platform that I'm using to record this on right now, and they're putting all kinds of cool, neat stuff on here, like showing me demo scene 1 and demo scene 2. And as I stated on the last time, that they bunch it up and break it up into little bits and pieces that I can use for things like TikTok and stuff like that if I want to too. And I'm sure they do a whole lot more, but it's been kind of cool to learn all the things that they do. I would ask that you give me a 5-star review, and tell others about this podcast. I feel like that I'm improving in my work here, and I'm providing information that you can use, and hopefully I can give you a little bit, make you laugh occasionally too, because I like to laugh. Where I can be found, I am on TikTok. That's one of the things I do, a scripture and a quote almost every day. I do 2 different recordings. One of them is a scripture, and the other one is a quote. And I put that on TikTok, and I also do that on Instagram and X and Rumble. I can be found on Facebook under my regular Facebook page is Thecia V Date Ellis. Yeah, I know it's about half mouthful, but I also have Grandma's Homestead Facebook page, and I would encourage you to go there and like my page there also. I have Grandma's Homestead.farm and Grandma's Homestead YouTube channel. That's my main channel. Farm Animal Life YouTube channel, Kinsey Lackey Sports YouTube channel, and I'm on Instagram too. That's all I got for you today. I hope that you have came away from this with a little bit of understanding of what's going on with the eggs, the price of eggs, and why the price is high, and why the birds are being killed off, and other alternatives than killing off entire flocks. So God bless, guys. I'll see you next time, and don't forget, live until you die.